The media is declaring that Nelson Peltz and Trian have been vanquished, Restore the Magic and all of its accounts taken down, hidden away. But did Bob Iger actually save the day for his vision of the Disney company when he pre-recorded the shareholders meeting yesterday? Folks, we're going to tell you why you should not fret, not for a second, for Nelson Peltz and perhaps even Elon Musk have a much better year ahead. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy as always, and we have one track record that we are very happy to say and promote every day, which is, we told you so. Everything that we have talked about when it comes to Trian and Nelson Peltz, Jay Rasulo and more, all of it seems to have come to pass in the past 24 hours. And that is not because we are Nostradamus, that is because we are Nostra-Mousus. Folks, we've been paying close attention to how things are going to pan out. When we said that Nelson Peltz was very unlikely to get the board seat this year, we were right. When we said that the stock, although we're not financial advisors, would go up because it's a proxy battle, guess what it did? And now it's time for phase two. And phase two is that Nelson Peltz has some options as to what he wants to do. And he may have a buddy coming on board soon, Elon Musk. We'll see what happens. But first of all, I want to welcome Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place, back to the channel. Jonas, how are you?
So good to be here. If you're Nostramaus, I would like to be Moustradamus.
Ooh, that's even better than what I came up with. Folks, don't forget to check out That Park Place Live coming up noon Eastern today, so just a very short time away. Jonas is going to have a fantastic panel talking about everything going down with Disney. It is a bunch, but I want to get into an article here. This is out of the Hollywood Reporter, and it's by George Salai. It says, as Disney wins proxy battle, Wall Street is wait and see on if Bob can land succession. And I would suggest, folks, that Wall Street is on a much broader wait and see when it comes with many things that Bob Iger is up to. An interview was just done this morning on Squawk Box on CNBC, and I would say it did not go well for Bob Iger. Jonas, how did you think that went?
The Squawk Box interview, I don't think it went very well for Bob Iger. I think he was on his back foot the entire time. Very defensive, and Faber had a lot of really good questions and still didn't go too hard after him. It was not hostile, but I don't think Iger was prepared as he should have been for some of those questions.
Now, there's a lot of patter in this article, not to demean it or to criticize it, just to say that's the way it is, as it explains to folks sort of the background of what's been going on. I want to scroll down to where we get to where the major players begin to weigh in. Let's take a look at this quote, Jonas. It says, the votes are in and Disney has won, but the pressure on the company remains, said Third Bridge analyst Jamie Lumley. Now, that's not something you're going to see in the headlines because the headlines are largely ideological and political. But this is what the actual analysts are saying, right? That pressure remains. Following the end of the proxy war, Disney now needs to focus on executing on a full agenda of tasks in 2024 to fully put the company on the right path. Streaming will be one core focus, he argued. Streaming profitability by the end of this fiscal year is a top priority for Disney, but our experts are skeptical about the company's ability to deliver on its margin goals in the near term. Lumley continued on, it took Netflix over a decade of streaming to deliver sustainable double-digit operating margins, and considering the challenges Disney has had in minimizing losses, it may be a while yet before it can boast a comparable margin profile. Now, Jonas, one of the switcheroos that we experienced yesterday, beyond just having artificial intelligence robots asking questions and an artificially intelligent moderator, and by the way, folks, now based on Squawk Box comments, we think all of that was pre-recorded, perhaps. But Jonas, one of the things that came about was they began to switch the language at Disney. And so they've guided now for years that they were going to reach a penny of profitability with Disney Plus in the fourth quarter. That's not to say that Disney Plus is going to be profitable itself. It just means for one quarter, they're going to make at least 1 penny more than they spend. And yesterday, they switched that up and they talked about across all of their streaming platforms, they would reach profitability. And I don't know if investors really have caught that still yet. We caught it, and we're going to be talking about it majorly. Jonas, if Disney buys Hulu, finishes that purchase for, let's say, $8 to $12 billion in the next 2 quarters, and then Hulu, because it's already profitable, manages to drag Disney Plus across the line when they're all duct taped together, if it drags it across the line and accomplishes a penny in profit by the fourth quarter, I don't think that's what shareholders have ever thought any of this meant. And I think it's important for channels such as ours to talk about this so that investors can be aware if that's what's really happening. What's your take on that?
I fully agree. I think we're about to see a combined DTC figure at the bottom of Disney's financial reconciliations for average revenue per user and subscribers and things like that. There's going to be a combined total there, and maybe they'll even remove ESPN Plus entirely in order to make sure that gets pushed across the line. This was something that I personally theorized on the channel, and then I was rebuffed by a very well-placed source, not from the Disney company, that they may not be able to do that. But now it sounds like Bob Iger has just said, no, combine DTC. So I'm not saying my source was incorrect if they're watching this video, but I think my original point still stands. They're going to slap the Disney Plus name onto Hulu and then pretend like Hulu's success is Disney's success. And,
right. And
it's classic
Disney. You and I have covered in the past, Jonas, that our sources have said that the long-term plan is to essentially kill Hulu, strap it onto Disney Plus, bring the profitability of Hulu into Disney Plus, and declare victory. We've also heard that Disney might be looking at some sort of Amazon Prime kind of style marketing deal going on with Disney Plus, where they would essentially sell products through the Disney Plus app. There was a very slight allusion to that in this morning's Squawk Box interview.
Right.
But Jonas, there's so much to go through, but we need to transition to the Nelson Peltz side of this, because there are many articles out there right now declaring that Nelson Peltz has been vanquished. There's the very public-facing negativity when you see the Restore the Magic website go down and the accounts go down. And so people think that Peltz has just absolutely been destroyed. Part of that is coming. Disney is not done yet, I think, sticking the fork in this, right, and twisting the knife. So one of the narratives that has come out is that from the same source, apparently, that continues to leak over and over, the vote counts and vote updates that are unprecedented. There was the claim that one of the board members, Lagomasino, that Peltz was supposed to be replacing if he did, received 2-1 votes, and that's really supposed to drive home just how poorly Peltz performed. Jonas, could you explain why that is misleading at best?
So first of all, this was not Lagomasino versus Peltz in the traditional sense. Like two people show up and they have a ballot there and it says, do you vote for Lagomasino or do you vote for Peltz? This was a situation, and they said, in which they have, first of all, the ballot is already filled out and it has all of the Disney names already filled out, all 12 of those board members already pre-checked. So if someone was not paying attention, it just automatically goes in. So it's already in Disney's favor there. Also, it does not say Lagomasino or Peltz. It says all Disney candidates. And then also down here is Peltz and Rasulo. In addition, if someone checked the box for all of the Disney candidates and also voted for Nelson Peltz, that vote is inherently rejected by Disney's new rules. So any vote that included Lagomasino and Peltz any vote that had more than 12 board members on it, immediately rejected.
So let's talk for a moment, Jonas, because as we said, and
there's one more that I want to add here.
Yes, please.
33% of shareholders who voted. If Disney is acting like 100% of shareholders voted on this issue, then if 1/3 of their shareholders think Nelson Peltz should be on that board, that is a large percentage of the company. If 33% of investors think that Peltz belongs on that board, that is an indictment of the board.
Well, and it gets worse, Jonas, because the stock has increased something like 50% as a result of the proxy battle. So as the stock increased 50%, still a third want Peltz on the board. That's really saying something. And as we've said in the past, the reason that Peltz gets a much better chance of getting on the board, and now I think that if he wants it, he might actually go for a majority, is because we think that Disney has probably acted in a way that sort of expended all of their gas that they have in the tank to try to stop Peltz. And so announcements like Moana 2, for example, it's going to be very difficult to deliver an excellent movie in 6 months when it usually takes 5 years to make a musical Disney princess film. And so it's great for capturing headlines. It's not great for delivering results. Same thing with the Avatar land. It's great to put out a piece of concept art. It's not so great when it turns out it's yet another piece of blue sky inspiration.
Yeah.
And so Disney is there's going to come a time when they are called out on these headlines from places other than this. But Jonas, I wanted to bring attention to this. These are the, if you search for Nelson Peltz, you get from CNN, how Bob Iger vanquished a corporate raider. From Wall Street Journal, how Disney's Bob Iger vanquished Wall Street agitator. Yahoo Finance, Disney defeats activist investor Nelson Peltz in proxy fight. And so, Jonas, what I would say is that there is a full-blown effort now to not just have beaten Nelson Peltz, but to control the narrative going forward because Peltz may return. And if he returns, he's bringing probably Elon Musk with him. And Disney may not be anywhere close to what they are right now when that next fight happens. So, Jonas, do you think that there is going to be an effort to humiliate Trian going forward to prevent them from returning?
You know, that's an interesting thing to contemplate here. I think that Bob Iger, he's said that they are going to ignore all of this, that it was a distraction, and they want to move on. I don't believe that for a second, that they thought it was, well, they wanted to do other things. They wanted to keep doing what they're doing and remain unopposed in their business narrative, which was not a great business narrative because a bunch of guys on the internet poked a lot of holes in it, including that ridiculous revenue slide that we're still pointing back to today. I think that even that statement that Nelson Peltz is a corporate raider is false. If he wanted to, quote unquote, be a corporate raider, he comes in and makes his case for the business to be sold. That's what he did at Pepsi. He makes his business case very clear. Disney said he had no business case. I think that is yet again obfuscation by them. So over the next year, if Elon Musk is weighing in and he specifically waits until after the closing of the voting, then I would say that he is more aware of this procedure than Disney would like him to be. And I wonder, as everything goes dark and the proxy battle goes dark and loosens the requirements for filing for the SEC so that they don't have to file every single thing they state with the SEC, I think that this proxy fight is done in name only so that they don't have to have all the requirements that they would have to have if they were officially trying to get board seats. I don't think it's actually done.
And for detractors out there who might be saying, "Oh, come on, pro, your guy lost. This is sour grapes. Take the L, guys." Well, Reuters disagrees with you, so deal with that. Says Peltz loses at Disney, but his investors win. Changes may still be ahead. Folks, Nelson Peltz and his investments, when he was buying in at $80, he's made quite a profit for all of his folks. He can sell if he wants to, and he can hop back in later. He can stay with it if he wants to. But he now will be facing a damaged Bob Iger with one of the hardest years we've ever seen Disney face of Bob's own doing in trying to stop Nelson Peltz. So we'll see what happens here. But anytime you buy in and you get something like 50% return on your investment, as a result, apparently, of your actions in a proxy battle, Nelson Peltz comes away the victor. He didn't have to win the board seat in order to win a lot of money. And we're talking a lot of money. Jonas, you've got a great show coming up on That Park Place Live at noon Eastern, just a little bit from now. Tell the folks what are the topics coming up.
Well, first of all, there was Bob Iger was not maybe he was expecting the shareholder smackdown on the proposal section. He was called out very specifically by name and in a way that maybe he wasn't expecting to be so disrespected on his home turf. Whether or not he actually appeared on the shareholder call live, we will never know. There's, of course, the fact that they chickened out and had AI ask all the questions that had been pre-sanitized before being submitted to the shareholders. There is, of course, the D-Files, a new edition of the D-Files from Film Threat, talking about the production of Wish and the disaster of current Walt Disney animation. Goes beyond just some flagging at the box office. There is so much to talk about. We will be talking about Elon Musk and Bill Ackman, the multi-billionaire who weighed in at the last minute as well. More than I could tell you here. But needless to say, it's going to be a great show. Oh, and by the way, since they're getting away from messaging, we will be talking about the fact that they are casting the female Silver Surfer for Fantastic
That's
Four.
right. So fear not, folks. Do not give in to the headlines that tell you that Peltz has been vanquished and destroyed and the raider is gone. And don't buy into all of this, just like you didn't buy into it before. we will be right here guiding you along what we think is going to happen. And frankly, we think we've been on point. So whether it is Nostramaus or Maustradamus, folks, hang here with us and we'll continue to give you the news as best we can with analysis that we believe is truthful, cutting through all of the narratives that are meant to make you believe things that just might not be. Folks, like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, hit the notification bell, drop a comment down below, and let us know your thoughts. And folks, make sure to tune in to That Park Place Live in just a wee bit. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
What are you doing?
Well, word on the street is the culture war has officially made it to the doorstep of That Park Place. And I realized Jonas has no one there who loves him. So I thought I should go and protect them.
Yeah, okay. You know that's not, how you do this, right?
Do what? Fight? Don't worry, Floral. I will not be intimidated by a criminal threat.
Threat? Well, don't be ridiculous.
What does it matter to me? I have only one life to lose.
I mean, I totally expected you to die walking into traffic, but,
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Okay, just stop. This is just nonsense. You already have one of the easiest and most effective tools and weapons at your fingertips.
My axe?
No. The truth. Stay smart and ready to tell and share the truth by keeping up to date with WDW Pro, That Park Place, as well as Valiant Renegade. Don't
And Jonas? I mean, he does things with Vash, and that's not very reassuring. That's like putting two helpless chipmunks into a piranha pond.
That's neither true nor accurate. Unlike the team from That Park Place.
Sue me.
Ugh.